You think you make decisions. You don't. Your fear picks the timing. Your anger picks the words. Your neediness picks the people. And your ego picks the mistakes. By the time you notice, the outcome is already chosen, and it wasn't chosen by you. In this video, you'll see how 5 common emotions quietly steer your choices, shape your reactions, and weaken your position, and how to recognize these patterns before they decide your timing, your words, and your outcomes without your consent. You hesitate before you respond. You explain when no one asked. You replay small moments like they were mistakes. When someone pulls away, you chase. When someone pushes, you react. You call it being careful. Most of the time, it's just your emotions choosing for you. Emotion 1, fear. Fear rarely looks like panic. It looks like waiting. It looks like choosing a safer moment that never comes. It shows up when you delay a message you already wrote, soften a boundary you already decided, or stay quiet in a moment you rehearsed. For example, you're in a conversation and you know what you want to say, but you pause. You think about how it will sound. You wait, someone else speaks, and the moment moves on without you. Later, you tell yourself you were being careful, but fear didn't protect you. It edited you. Over time, fear trains you to live in almost honest, almost direct, almost visible. Fear doesn't control you by stopping you. It controls you by deciding when you're allowed to move. Emotion 2, anger. Anger feels like strength. Psychologically, it's exposure. The moment you react, you show exactly where you can be controlled. Anger doesn't just release tension, it reveals your triggers. For example, someone makes a small comment and your tone changes. You respond faster, sharper. The conversation stops being about the topic and becomes about your reaction. Even if you win, something is lost. Now they know where to touch you. Anger makes you predictable, and predictable people are easy to steer. The more often you react, the less people have to argue with you. Emotion 3, neediness. Neediness isn't about wanting people. It's about needing signals, replies, reassurance, proof that you still matter. It shows up when silence makes you uncomfortable and distance makes you change your behavior. For example, someone pulls back, replies slow down. You start doing more. You respond faster. You explain more. You offer more than was asked. Not because it's required, but because uncertainty feels unsafe. And that teaches a dangerous lesson. Your effort increases when theirs decreases. The more you try to secure connection, the more you reveal that you're afraid to lose it. And the one who fears loss more always gives up control first. Emotion 4, guilt. Guilt doesn't punish you for doing wrong. It punishes you for protecting yourself. It shows up as over-explaining, over-giving, and staying longer than you should. Guilt turns boundaries into apologies. For example, you say no to something you don't want to do. Then you start adding reasons. You soften your voice. You try to make the other person comfortable with your decision. Not because you changed your mind, because you're uncomfortable with their reaction. Guilt trains you to negotiate your own limits. The more you explain, the more people learn that your no can be pushed into a maybe. Over time, your clarity becomes optional. Guilt doesn't make you kinder. It makes you easier to move. Emotion 5, ego. Ego doesn't just want to win. It wants to be seen winning. It turns conversations into battles and feedback into threats. Ego isn't loud confidence. It's fragile identity trying to protect itself. For example, someone challenges you. Instead of focusing on the outcome, you focus on not looking wrong. You defend a position you don't even care about anymore. You keep talking long after the point is clear, because backing down feels like losing. Ego makes you argue when silence would be stronger. It makes you react when patience would be leverage. The more you need to protect your image, the easier it is for others to pull you into useless fights. Ego doesn't lose you control in one moment. It leaks it across many small ones. You've now seen all 5 emotional leaks. How fear delays you, how anger exposes you, how neediness gives you away, how guilt weakens your boundaries, and how ego pulls you into losing battles. None of these take control from you by force. You hand it over quietly through reaction. Reframe. Most people think controlling emotions means suppressing them. That's not control. That's just delay. Real control is understanding that emotions are signals, not commands. Fear doesn't mean stop. Anger doesn't mean attack. Guilt doesn't mean give in. Ego doesn't mean defend. They're information about what you care about and where you feel exposed, not instructions on what to do next. Calm isn't the absence of feeling. It's the ability to choose your response after the feeling appears. Silence isn't weakness when it's intentional. Distance isn't coldness when it protects clarity. And patience isn't passivity. When it keeps you from making decisions you'll have to undo. When you stop treating emotions like orders, they lose their authority over your timing, your words and your choices. You don't become numb. You become selective. You stop being moved by every internal surge and start moving with purpose instead. Practical awareness. You don't need to fight your emotions. You need to notice when they're trying to rush you. Most loss of control happens in the space between feeling something and acting on it. That space is usually very small, and that's where awareness changes everything. Start by paying attention to timing. When you feel the urge to reply immediately, ask yourself what's actually pushing you, clarity or discomfort. When you feel the need to explain, notice whether you're sharing information or trying to manage someone else's reaction. When silence feels heavy, observe what you're afraid it might mean. Watch patterns instead of moments. Fear shows up as delay, anger shows up as speed, neediness shows up as over-effort, guilt shows up as extra words, ego shows up as the need to be right. You don't need to correct these instantly, you just need to see them. Small pauses change outcomes. Waiting a little before responding doesn't make you distant. It makes your response intentional. Fewer words don't make you unclear. They make your position firmer, and choosing not to engage in every emotional invitation doesn't make you cold. It keeps your attention where it actually matters. Awareness isn't dramatic, but it's how control quietly returns. Not every emotion is yours to follow, and not every reaction is harmless. Some cost you position, some cost you respect, and some quietly decide your future before you notice. The most dangerous losses don't happen loudly. They happen when you keep reacting instead of choosing. Control doesn't come from feeling less. It comes from deciding more. Subscribe if you want awareness, not noise.